Hi, and welcome to this next video, and this one's from the shape section. And what we're going to be doing in this video is looking at transformations. Now, transformation is essentially just a way of being able to move a shape according to a particular set of instructions. And there's three different ways that we're going to do this, and we'll have a look at each of those in turn. So the first one we're going to do is a reflection. So for reflection, what we're going to need is a mirror line. And the key thing to remember with reflections is you've just got to make sure that your object is the same distance from the mirror line as your reflection is. So let's just have a look at what I mean by that. So there we've got my original shape, which is my object. Here's my mirror line. Here's my image, and the blue arrows tell me that, okay, that's the same distance from there to there as it is from there to there. And if I move my object further away from the mirror line, then my image is going to move further away from the mirror line. But those distances are still exactly the same. The other one to be a bit careful of when you're doing reflections is when you've got a mirror line that goes through the middle of your shape. And essentially the way to think about this one is to take each individual point. So kind of this corner of my triangle here is going to be reflected in the mirror line, so it's going to appear somewhere up here. Same with this corner, it's going to be reflected, it's going to appear somewhere up here. But this point here is above the mirror line at the moment, so when it's reflected, it's going to end up below the mirror line. So what we get is my image would be a reflection that looks like that. Okay, so let's have a look at, sometimes you'll see reflections and transformations generally being done on grids. So we've got our red trapezium here, and we're going to reflect it in that red mirror line. So you can see we're one square away from my mirror line here. So I need to be one square away down here. So what I'm going to do is this point is one above, so it's going to go one below, same as this one. This point here, this top left-hand corner, I forget what's 1, 2, 3 squares above my mirror line. So that's going to end up 1, 2, 3 squares below my mirror line. And the same with this point up here. So when we reflect it, we're going to get that. Okay, now let's take that blue shape, the blue trapezium, and reflect it in the y-axis. And I've put another mirror line here on my y-axis. And again, I'm counting squares here. So I've got 1, 2 squares from my mirror line to my point here. So that's going to be 2 squares on the other side. And all the others will follow in exactly the same way. So we're going to get our reflection is going to go there, and that's our green shape. Okay, so that's reflections done. Let's move on now and have a look at translations. And translations are simply just a movement of the shape. So I'm going to take my green triangle there and just move it. There we go. And the translation is just what's happened to move the shape from here to that point there. So let's have a look at another example. So here we've got our yellow star shape here. It's been translated, it's been moved to create this purple star, and what we've got to figure out is what are the coordinates of this point here. So what we're going to do is have a look at the corresponding points on our two stars. So if we look at these kind of the red ones I've highlighted in red first, so let's go from there to there. If you look at the coordinates, I've gone from the x coordinate of 1 up to 6, so that's moved across in the x direction 5 places. And to go from 4 to 15, I must have gone up 11. And let's just check that that still works for these, the ones I've highlighted in pink. So from 3 to 8, yeah, that's gone across 5. From 2 to 13, yeah, that's gone up 11. So what we need to do is apply the same thing to this point here. So if we were at 5, 5, so at 5, I've gone across 5, so that's going to be at 10. And then from 5 up 11, that's going to be 16. Jobs are done. Okay, and moving on to the final one, which is rotations. And a rotation is simply when you turn a shape. And we can turn it clockwise or anti-clockwise, and we can turn it through however many degrees we want. So if I take that smiley face there, and I'm going to do, let's say, let's go for a 90-degree clockwise rotation. So if I turn it 90 degrees, it's going to go that way. Another 90 takes it to there, and then a final 90 would bring it to there. So it's the same shape, but just in different orientations or different rotations each time. So let's have a look at this, and this is kind of similar to the type of question you might get on your 11 plus entrance exam. So we've got our original shape here, which is the yellow one, and we've got to say which one of these shapes is a rotation of our original yellow shape. So let's just consider the 4 options, and I'm going to pick on this one down here, and already we can see that this one, the squares are arranged in a different way. So that's a completely different shape. One of the squares has been moved and put in a different place. So we can say, okay, it's not going to be that one for kickoff. The other one I'm going to look at is this one over here, and hopefully you can see that this one is simply a reflection of my original yellow one. So that takes out that one. So that's not my rotation, that one's a reflection. So let's now have a look at what happens when I do a bit of rotation. I'm lucky because obviously I'm on a computer and I can make my shapes rotate, whereas on a bit of paper you can't do that. But you can sometimes just take the paper and just turn the whole booklet round if you want. It kind of helps your thinking. But I'm just going to rotate this shape. So there we go. I've done a 90-degree clockwise rotation. And now I'm looking at this shape here, and I can see that this one now looks like it's a reflection of that rather than rotation. So, okay, it's not going to be that one, which just leaves this one down here. And let's just check. If I rotate my original shape another 90 degrees, there you go. We can see this one is now the same as this one down here. So that one turned out to be a 180-degree rotation of my original shape. And what I'm going to do is just put my original shape back to its original position. There it goes. And hopefully you can see how this one and this one are a rotation of each other.